firm does do lots of renovations. We work mostly, my firm does lots of work, mostly centered in Providence, and we've done in the last 10 or 15 years some work in the mill buildings along the rivers in the Oldeyville area. This, I think this is a picture. This right here is Rising Sun Mills, and the river, the Wonosoquatucket River, which drains a watershed including North Providence and Johnston, runs right behind Rising Sun Mills and down in Narragansett Bay through downtown Providence. In 2006, we had a major rain event and some flooding. In 2010, a major rain event and flooding. At that point, we said this is, you know, the building was rehabbed and everything was prepared above the 100-year floodplain. You think the 100-year floodplain, this is sort of a standard we didn't even think about. There's no, we're out of the 100-year floodplain, we've done enough. 2006, a couple years after we opened, we have a flood that exceeds the 100-year floodplain. We were surprised, but it seemed fluky and we didn't take any significant measures to prevent it. 2010, it happened again. It was more severe, power was lost on the street, and it became evident that it was sort of an impossible situation. We can't have a place that is inundated regularly. So we looked around for floodgates. Basically what was happening is water was coming into the building. Water was coming into the building through the openings. It wasn't wind, it wasn't coming through the roof, it was just flooding in off the property. So we designed, we looked online at some of the UL listed floodgates, priced them. They were beyond the sort of where we were able to go as a small local developer. But we did design and build, working with consultants, a series of floodgates that basically keep the water out. I mean, it's a really simple thing to keep water out of your openings if that's all you're trying to do. Now, the 100-year floodplain is about 3 inches up that floodgate. And so there was a whole conversation about, well, do we need to make these a foot tall, 2 feet tall, whatever? And the conversation we had was, look, we don't know what's happening. There's no way to predict. I would love to predict the risk. Don't feel like I can predict the risk at all, but if we're putting up a 1-foot floodgate, let's put up a 2 or 3 foot floodgate and not worry about it. So that's basically, there are about 18 floodgates involved. This is the trickiest location because it involves sort of almost a contraption, a floodgate that has different angles. It requires cables that are bolting into the ground. There's a foundation that's built for it. Sump pumps behind it so that rainwater and whatnot that accumulates behind it doesn't actually end up in the building. So sort of a disastrous series of events, a simple solution, and then it becomes a question of convincing potential tenants that it's not going to flood again. It's flooded before, people know it's flooded before, so we have to do, we have to test it, we have to do a series of videos to show people that it works. But I've actually been telling our leasing person, I'm actually hoping for a big flood so that we can show people clearly that these floodgates work, because since 2010 we've had nothing to actually live test them. But it's interesting hearing about the risks of climate change, and as a business owner I would say don't underestimate them. Prepare yourself is exactly the lessons we just heard. Prepare yourself and be ready for the worst. Thank you.